recuerdos, nunca realidad. Algo nos está soñando. Entrégate a la ilusión. Vive.
La oscuridad se lo está tragando todo.
Todo lo que vas a hacer, ya lo eres. Lo que buscas, ya está en ti. Alégrate de tus sufrimientos. Gracias a ellos, llegarás a mí.
Well, I started making movies when I was 6 years old, 6 years and a half in Topo. And this movie where my father said to me, today you're 7 years old, now you're a man. Bury your first toy and and portrait of your mother. That was a nice start. And then I made 3 other movies in Mexico and Colombia until I was around 11, 12. I got a prize in Mexico called La Diosa de Plata for the best child actor. That prize doesn't exist anymore, has been replaced by something, another name. And well, then we started traveling a lot, and I didn't think about being an actor anymore. But theater got me back when I was 18. So I started making a lot of theater here in France. And I worked with, after a while, with a very famous director here, who's called Ariane Mnouchkine, in the Théâtre du Soleil. For 7 years, then I left the company because I wanted to do something else. After 7 years, I worked a lot in many different companies, and when I got around 45, we started working again with my father on theater. We did 3 theater plays together, and the last one here was a quite big success. I performed for 6 years, 6 months and a half here in Paris, and a tour, and I've been performing. I'm still performing this play. It's called The Gorila. I performed it in French, then I performed it in Spanish in Buenos Aires and in Santiago. I did 3 performances in London for a festival, so I have it in English, and one of my dreams is making it in New York to finish over there in English. And then I started making movies again with a Mexican director whose name is Daniel Castro. We made his first movie called Tau. And just after that, my father proposed me to do the main character in La Danza de la Realidad. So it's very simple. I appear in Santa Sangre before, but this was just a kind of a little appearance, like a friendly appearance. It's a poetical autobiographical story. It's about my father's childhood. In the first third of the movie, it's around him when he was a boy, and I play my father's father. So there's a kid who plays Alejandro, and I play my grandfather Jaime, which is a very funny, strange, awkward thing to do, to be directed by your father playing his father. So that made very, how could you say, intense relationships during the shooting, because it was a very intense shooting with a lot of things to act and to do. It's a very rich character. And on the second part of the movie, the second, third, and third of the movie, it's more the story of this man, of Jaime, of my father's father, who has some kind of adventure that changes him. So the purpose of the movie was obviously to tell a story, but also to make a process of what my father calls healing his soul, because his relationship with his father was quite terrible. His father was a very severe person, not very caring, not very loving father, and that marked very much my father in his life. So he wanted to solve this kind of a very negative image we had of my grandfather in our genealogic story. And he wanted maybe to heal himself of the resentment he felt about the education he received. And by the same occasion, trying to realize also his mother in the movie. Because as you will see, the actress sings all her part instead of talking. And because my grandmother dreamed of being an opera singer. And through this process, it was at the same time, it's like he's coming back to the movies after 23 years. And he's like, he was eager to he really wanted to make a movie. And also a very personal process.
Yes, because you made it in the original hometown of your father, didn't you, in Chile?
We filmed not only in the original town, in the original street, in the original house. And situations, things that my father really lived. So since it's a movie and he wanted a poetical language, an emotional language, in difference with the Topo and the Holy Mountain, his most known movies are kind of mental movies. He wanted to open the mind with those movies. Here it's a heart-opening movie. It's much more emotional. So it's a very poetical language. It's the point of view of his inner child, of his story, but in the same time, it's the point of view of the old man the grown-up man he is now. So in the movie, he appears also like with himself as a kid. Like I am like already being what he will be. So like a presence around himself, child, but you see, as if he has, because it's a very honest way to show that he's revisiting his childhood and the characters of his family. He didn't alone because it was about the father figure. So the father figure, it's not only his father, it's the father figure that we carry through our whole family story. So he involved us. He trusted me with the main character, but you have my brother Adam, who made the music, made the score of the movie, a very beautiful music, and he plays a small part. And my other brother Cristobal, who also plays a very small part in the beginning. But it's an important part because it's the first master of Alejandro as a child. So in a very fun way, he makes that his son becomes his first master. Pascal, my father's wife, she made the costumes, very beautiful costumes, and she collaborated with the post-production, like in the colors, or the photography and all that. So it's a real family work. It's a very personal work of my father. Obviously, he's the artist and he's the director completely, but he chose to use the talents that he thinks there is in his family. Like, you know, he worked with us not because we were his sons. He worked with me as an actor because he felt that I could really incarnate the character as he dreamed, because we had already this theater experience together, three plays. And he chose my brother to make the music because he's a real great musician, and Pascal, she's a painter. So every person that's there is because of his talents, but it happens that it's also his family, so it makes a good combination.
Do you think that your skill as an actor comes from that experience of being with your father in films from such an early age, or do you feel like you were?
No.
How did you develop your talent, do you think?
You know, when you're a kid, when you don't really play, yeah, you play. You really play in the real sense of the word of playing, you know, amusing yourself. I took it very seriously when I was performing as a kid. I really thought I was acting, but at the same time, you have this freshness of a child that you're always looking for afterwards when you're an adult. But I really wanted to form myself on theater. I really loved theater. It was a huge part of my life, because I chose it. And I worked with, in the beginning, I started working alone. I was very ignorant, so very pretentious. So I decided I would work alone and made my company for 2 years, an amateur company that I directed. And we immediately made them work with a very corporel, on a body level, with the body. And then I worked for 2 years with an actor whose name is Richard Chislak, and he was the main actor of Jerzy Grotowski's laboratorium theater in Poland, the 60s, and he was in Paris with Peter Brook doing the Mahabharata. So I contacted him and I told him I wanted to work with him, and he said, well, I'm not a teacher, I'm not giving lessons, so I organized a group And we worked with him finally for 2 years, and I learned a lot from him. I'm a very Grotowski style work. And then I worked a little bit as a freelance actor, and then I went to the Théâtre du Soleil for 7 years, where I worked the mask and all the Asian dances and performing really, really incredible shows. And we performed the Atride in New York, I think, in Montreal. Mm-hmm. And well, so I said 7 years, and then as an actor, I think that as an actor, you learn. No one can teach you anything, but you can learn with. No one will teach you how to act, but you can learn with people. So every actor I have met, I have tried to take something from this actor, from this actress, from this director. Sometimes from someone who taught me the makeup, or I've been interested in lighting. And I've also done stage directing, so I've learned also from there. You must be, my first teacher taught me an actor is a hunter. You must be always, trying to improve your skills.
When you go to film with that theatre experience, what differences do you find, and what do you learn differently from each experience?
It's more, but it depends, it really depends, because you will see, this movie I made for the Mexican director Daniel Castro, Tao. It is a very interior way of playing, of acting. The dance of reality, since the beginning, my character is playing a character in life. So it's a very intense way of acting, but it all depends on you must understand the world of the director. And once you understand the world of the director, the style he wants to give to his movie, you move into his world. If you want to bring the movie to you, to your way of acting, well, I don't know how to do that. So I really try to understand the world that is being proposed. And then once I understand it, I move in it. And, I really feel that the acting in movies, it might be strange to say this, but the acting of an actor in movies, it's a collective work. It's not an individual work. So you bring your part of this collective work by your presence and your work and learning your lines and trying to act as the director wants you, the style of the movie. But it depends, your acting depends so much on the editing, on the music that's on the background, on the light, on how the scenes match one with another, that, you must be quite modest. And a very, very, very good actor will give 30%, 40% of his performance, I think. And the rest is editing and mixing. You can have a very good performance completely ruined by a very bad editing, or a mediocre performer being really enhanced by a great editing and rhythm of the music and everything, Yes, I do. And as a stage director, as a stage actor, or as a film actor, generally, up till now, technicians are very pleased to work with me, because I'm always, what angle are you filming? I always take a lot of consideration of the technical part. Movies acting is also very technical. It's a technical thing, movies. It's technical art. So if you're not interested in the technical part of it, you're really missing something. You must collaborate with the other departments of the work. So I always have something to say about my costumes, and with the cameraman, for example, I'm always, what is the distance, what is the focal, what lens are you using, and it's very, very interesting. If you get to know a little bit about the others' work, about their skill, first you get to meet interesting people, and then you get richer, in your craft and your skills.
Media and physical, isn't it?
Yes, it's a different process. No, the theater is physical, but it's a different process. In theater you rehearse. So when you get to the opening night, have research. You have made some research, interior work, and tried a variety of things, and agreed with the other actors and the director about the direction you're taking, and then the opening starts, and you have. Well, I've had the luck of performing in plays that have performed a long time. So every performance you explore, you go deeper. Movies it's an immediate thing, you know. If you're really lucky, you can make, I don't know, if you're really lucky or really bad, you make 10 takes, right? But the two directors I've worked with, they've been very quick. I say two because the movies I've done before, they're very small parts, other things, some things from TV here, but small parts. But for this new life in cinema that is just starting for me, the two directors which I have had starring parts, well, they're very pleased with what I propose very quickly, and they have worked very quickly.
And how have you found the industry of film compared to theatre? How do you think the industry is at the moment for independently funded movies? How have you found that experience?
It's very difficult, as we all know. Movies has always been a business. Always, since the beginning, it's been a business. But, well, I might be wrong, but I feel that for a long time, it was a business in the hand of producers. And now it's more in the hands of financiers. So financiers, as in the global economy, they're all looking for short-term benefits. And maybe financiers don't care about art or whatever, you know. They want short-term. So they want. It's much more an industry, you know. It's a short-term thing of making money. It's all about making money. So it was also before like that, but I have the fantasy, maybe I'm wrong, that in the past you have big producers that would make their industry, they would make their money, and from time to time they would pay themselves a dancer. That's what my expression is. It comes from a French expression, une danseuse. They had a little lover, you know. They would finance a little Fellini or a little Kurosawa or a little Rossi movie, you know, just to feel not too dirty in their soul, and to leave something in the memory of movies, right? Maybe today is we're in a more cynical period, and maybe the financiers don't care about that because maybe they don't love cinema. And I think that producers, even if they were making an industry in the past, maybe they still had this kind of love for movies and what happened there. So it got very superficial. So that's what I think generally. But now that I have been going to many festivals, like with the danza, presenting the danza, I've tried to see as much as I can, because you stay a very short time in every festival. I've always tried to see one or two movies. And there's a lot of art movies, in fact. In fact, there are. The problem is not making the art movies or the author movies or the independent movies. It's not making them. Especially nowadays, the techniques it's gone very cheap. It's cheaper, you know. You don't have, with digital, you don't have the film problem. So you can shoot. You can even make a movie with your iPhone. So you know, it's okay, or a little DV camera. And we've seen terror movies with a lot of success with that. You can even distribute your movie on the internet if you don't want to make money with it. If you don't find, but the problem is not making the movies; it's the distribution of movies. Is that the companies that own the movie theaters, they don't show that movies to the public. So that's the problem. So. And I trust humanity, and sometimes I've met some theater directors, not the stage directors, but the people who own the theaters, you know. You have a great project, they like very much, they come to see your play, they like your play, but they don't take it in their theaters on tour because they say, oh, I don't think it's for my audience. And I always feel like, wow, they really despite their audience because they love the play, but that means that, you know, they despite their audience. I really think that people are craving for a better cinema. They really want to see better movies, and they also want to see amusing movies. I think there's place for everything. I'm not against the Avengers. I enjoyed it, you know, and I enjoyed Matrix. And okay, I don't enjoy so much Spider-Man because I think it's a bad superhero movie. Nothing happens. But the Avengers was very fun. But come in, and my father says always this, you come into the movie theater, you look the Avengers, and you go out as stupid as you were when you arrived. But what? You had fun. And it's important to have fun, and I'm not against commercial movies and superheroes and adventures and James Bonds and all that. It's great. But the problem is that all these movie distributors, they think that it's the only thing they can propose to the audience. And, well, I don't agree. I've seen the reactions on every festival of La Danza de la Navidad, the Dance of Reality, and it's always shown in public screenings. And the Q&A, people stay for the Q&A, they talk, they're moved, they love the movie. So why not, And it doesn't happen only with our movie. I suppose it happens with many other movies that go around the festivals that are good quality cinema. So I think there's appetite for everything and place for everyone. They should be in those multiplexes. There should be the Art et Essai section, always a small one with 200 seats, where you show another kind of cinema. They should trust the audience a little bit more.
From your experience, for actors or directors that want to try and finance a movie and make their movie happen, what advice can you give?
Don't give up. That's why you want to make a movie, do it. What makes people give up sometimes is the economics, because they want to make money with it. Don't think about making money with your movie. Think about making your movie. And then if you never want to put it on internet and you have millions of people that can watch it, it's how could I say? If your motivation is fame and making money, it's difficult. If your motivation is expressing something that really is important for you, that's something you want to express, a point of view on society, on human beings, on relationships, on organization or fantasy or poetry, do it. Do it. Today, really, it's possible to make a movie. Write your script, gather your friends, and do your movie. Do it. We're like in the beginnings of the middle of the 60s or beginning of the 70s, where the theater companies started making theater in different places. You see, you had the state theater, the academical thing that was like a statue, like a mummy, reproducing all the same kind of things. And then some companies started going out because they couldn't do there, but they didn't care about making filming. They started the Bread and Puppets, started Ariane Mushkin, Peter Brook, all those people. They started somewhere else. So the somewhere else today might be internet for the movies. But all those companies, theater companies of the 70s, they wanted to make to live their dream. And their dream wasn't getting into the industry. The dream was making theater, you see? So understand what your dream is about and then do it. But if your dream is about getting to the movie industry, well, that's going to be difficult. But maybe you're made for it. But if your dream is selling something, giving something to the world, even if it's an amusement, even if it's a comedy, a good moment of laughter, it's great when someone gives a good moment of laughter in this life. Well, do it. When someone wants to do it, they do. They do. Because it's a need. As an actor, I need to perform. I need art in my life. It happened like that. So I do it. Sometimes some young actors, I'm less younger than when I was young, but I can meet some guys say, I want to give it a try and maybe be an actor. And so my first question is, if it doesn't work, what will you do? Well, I'm studying, blah, 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 blah. So, okay, don't be an actor. Don't be. If you can conceive that living without art in your life, well, don't be an artist. We're too many anyway. We're too many. And it's great. We're too many actors, too many painters, too many singers. I don't know. Too many taxi drivers. So at least if you choose something, choose it because it's important for you. But if it is, don't hesitate. Don't let anyone tell you you're not going to do what you want to do.